This happened in a small town in the Midwest, where my mom worked as a school counselor. I was a sophomore at the time, and even though the school's building was only about a decade old, there were always weird stories floating around. The big one, it was built over an old cemetery. Like, the headstones had moved, but not the bodies. I used to laugh about it, thought it was just some creepy rumor. That is, until the local paper published an article during my freshman year. Apparently, during construction, workers uncovered human bones. Some still had military dog tags on them. A few were buried with letters, rusted over, and barely recognizable. One guy even found a job under the science wing. Weird stuff started happening not long after. Lights would flicker randomly, especially near the gym hallway. Custodians started quitting suddenly. One guy just left his cot in the middle of the hallway and walked out. He never came back. I shrugged it all off until I saw something. It was a Wednesday morning, early, and I was walking to class. The hallway was pretty empty, and at the far end, near the trophy case, I saw a man barefoot, dragging one leg. His right leg was just gone from the knee down. He wore this torn up military uniform that looked like it had been through a wall, literally. I stood frozen. He stared at me with these pale, hollow eyes. Then he just disappeared. Like he blinked out. I didn't even tell anyone at first, but then a girl in my chemistry class fainted in the orchestra room. She said she saw someone watching her in the mirror behind the base storage. A week later, the senior said she saw a guy crawling up the stairwell. He was missing a leg, and he was holding a helmet, rusted, like something from World War II. Then came the priest. I didn't see him myself, but people talked. The school brought him in quietly, no announcement. He just showed up, walking the halls with holy water and rosaries. After that day, the hallway near the gym was completely sealed off. They moved a vending machine in front of the door and bolted it in place. No explanation. No one admitted anything. And the priest? Gone. Never saw him again. Nobody did. Not in town. Not even at the church. He just vanished. Rumors exploded. Some kids dared each other to knock on the door behind the vending machine. One guy swore something knocked back. Another said that the air leaked out and it was freezing cold. It even fogged up his glasses. Years passed. I graduated, moved away. But during a reunion a few years ago, I went back. That vending machine, still there, and when I walked by it, I swear I heard something behind it. A dragging step, metal scraping against the concrete, and just as I turned away, I saw it, a handprint on the inside of the glass. This was back in 2018. I've never told the story online before, but I still think about it almost every day. It was second period, history class, normal day, nothing weird. And then the intercom buzzed. Lockdown, this is not a drill. Our teacher's face went pale. He immediately locked the door, turned off the lights, and told us to get to the corner. We'd done drills before. It always felt like a joke, but this time, I don't know. The room felt different. He didn't look calm. Nobody did. We sat in silence. You could hear breathing. A couple of kids started crying quietly, and then 3 knocks on the door. Loud, deliberate. Then we heard screaming, and then gunshots. The shooter was going door to door. We could hear it. Someone begging, then more shots, then silence. Then the next door. It was chaos, pure fear. My friend squeezed my hand so tight it left marks. I felt like any second we'd be next. But the shooter didn't come into our room. He walked past. Later, we found out we were the only room in that hallway left untouched. Why? I thought about it over and over, and then I remembered something so small it felt stupid at the time. Right before the lockdown was called, I knocked over my water bottle. It rolled onto my desk, out into the middle of the classroom. We didn't think to grab it, it just sat there in plain view. Through the little window in the door, that one bottle probably made it look like someone had already searched the room. Like maybe it had already been checked. That water bottle may have saved our lives. One of the kids killed down the hall was Kyle. He sat behind me in math. He always gave me gum before class. His little sister was in the same grade as my cousin. After the funeral, I tried to throw the bottle away. I had it in my hand. I stood over the trash can, but I couldn't do it. That bottle sits on my shelf now, still half full, dusty, and untouched. I think about it every time I hear sirens outside. Every time there's another lockdown on the news. It saved me, and I can't let it go. This happened junior year. We had one of those scheduled lockdown drills. The kind where half the class groans and the teacher rolls the eyes and plays along. We followed the steps. Lights off, doors locked, hide in the corner. We were all sitting on the floor, whispering and joking, waiting for it to be over. 10 minutes passed. Then the intercom buzzed. All clear. Students, please exit your classrooms in an orderly fashion. But something about the voice, it didn't sit right. It sounded off, too robotic, like a badly edited voicemail. Our teacher, Mr. Hansen, frowned and whispered, "Stay down. Don't move." We waited. 10 seconds. 30. Then screams. Not acting. Real screams. Then gunfire. Turns out, someone had hijacked the PA system, played a pre-recorded message telling everyone to leave the classrooms during a real lockdown. Room 107 followed the instructions. The teacher was new. She thought the voice was real. They walked into the hallway, right into the shooter. I knew one of them, Jamie. He was in my chemistry class. He was that kind of guy who always carried a spare charger and offered it to you without asking. I'd been to his house once for a project. He died a few feet outside our classroom. Later we learned the shooter had access to a back office where the school's PA system was run. It was all planned. He timed the fake voice perfectly to match the end of the drill. When the lockdown ended for real, they walked us past the bodies with blankets over them. I remember the hallway floor being sticky. I remember Jamie's sister standing in the front office with her mom, staring at the floor, not crying. And I remember that voice, the fake one. Every so often, when I hear the school's intercom buzz now, I flinch because it doesn't matter how many drills you practice, one word from the wrong voice at the wrong time, and that's it. It was a random Thursday when we got a sub in biology. Our real teacher, Mr. Lane, had gone on a sudden leave. We walked in, and the guy was already there. He looked normal, older, thin, kinda pale. Said his name was Mr. White. He didn't do much teaching, just handed us a packet and told us to get to work. But something felt off. He kept staring at people, like intensely. When you look back, he'd smile, but it wasn't friendly. It was like he knew something you didn't. I asked a friend in a different period what they thought of the sub. She blinked. We had a movie today. No sub showed up. That night, I looked him up. No teacher named Mr. White in the district. Next day, he wasn't there. And when I asked the front office, they told me no one named Mr. White had signed in. A few of us started digging. We checked old yearbooks. Nothing. Then someone found a news clipping from a town about 40 minutes away. 10 years ago, a science teacher had been arrested for running illegal experiments on his students. None of them died, but some of them were never the same. His name? Daniel White. The mugshot? Same guy. I brought it to the principal. She looked pale and said it was probably a coincidence. But here's the kicker. 2 weeks later, a student went missing after detention. They found her backpack and phone behind the gym. Security footage showed her walking into the old science wing, the one that had been shut down since 2012, and walking next to her, a man in a pale gray suit. We had this one hallway in our school no one liked going down. The old wing with the music rooms. It smelled awful. Moldy, damp, but sometimes almost like raw meat. Most of us avoided it unless we had band or choir. But one night, I had to stay after school to pick up my clarinet from the band room. It was around 5 p.m., and most of the building was already locked down. When I walked into the band room, the smell hit me like a punch to the face. It was so strong it made my eyes water. But the room looked clean. I went towards the storage room in the back. That's when I heard it. Shuffling slow and breathing, wet, heavy breathing, like someone was struggling to breathe through mucus. I froze. I wasn't alone. I bolted out and grabbed the janitor. We went back with a flashlight. That's when we saw the trapdoor, hidden under a dusty rug near the percussion shelf. He opened it. Inside, was the crawl space, narrow, filthy, lined with old food wrappers, tattered blankets, and a cracked mirror nailed to the wall. There were also dozens of empty bottles of rat poison. Someone had been living there. They sealed it off the next day with concrete, but a week later, that same janitor, David, didn't come home. Security footage showed him walking into the bedroom around 9:03 p.m. with his mop bucket. He never came out. The footage ran for another 4 hours. No one else entered. His supplies were found exactly where he left them. When they reopened the sealed trapdoor, it was empty. No bedding, no wrappers, no David. The entire space had been wiped clean. They brought in cadaver dogs, searched the vents, even called in a structural engineer to check for hidden exits. Nothing. Eventually, they shut down the whole music wing. Mold concerns, they said, but a few of us know better. And every now and then, especially in winter when the pipes knock and the halls go quiet, I swear, you can still hear it, the slow creak of that trapdoor, and breathing.